Before sunrise, in the stillness of early morning, the sky over South China Sea erupted in fire. China had just fired 56 missiles at a US carrier. No one was ready for what happened after. The sudden attack at 4:20 a.m. on August 30th, 2025 started with a loud noise over the South China Sea. This was a massive, planned missile strike from deep inside China. 20 DF-21D carrier killer missiles shot up from hidden sites in Guangdong, heading straight for the USS Gerald R, America's biggest and newest aircraft carrier. At the same time, 36 CJ-10 cruise missiles were launched from H-6K bombers flying out of Hainan Island. This meant a total of 56 missiles were racing toward the US Navy. This kind of attack, where the enemy tries to fire so many missiles that the defense system can't handle them all, is called a saturation attack. Aboard the huge USS Gerald R, a ship longer than 3 football fields and weighing over 100,000 tons, 4,000 American sailors were immediately jolted awake by sirens. This carrier was the peak of naval technology, powered by special A-1B nuclear reactors that provided huge amounts of electricity for systems like the EMALS, which launches jets faster than older systems. Despite these high-tech systems, the situation was extremely dangerous. China's goal was clear: to destroy the carrier. The DF-21D missiles, flying incredibly fast at Mach 10, 10 times the speed of sound, were designed to break through defenses and cripple the floating fortress with their 1,300-pound warheads. We're doing a giveaway for a $200 Amazon gift card when we hit 1,000 subscribers. Make sure to smash that subscribe button and comment below so we know to add you into the raffle. Thanks and best of luck to everyone who enters. What was meant to be a quick destruction became a huge battle between the latest attack weapons and the US Navy's layered defense. As sailors saw their radar screens filled with many red dots, panic was replaced by a strong, focused response. The carrier's protective guard included 2 Arleigh D. Burke-class destroyers, the USS John Finn and USS Holly. These ships activated their Aegis combat systems, which could track more than 300 targets at once. The command was simple: fire everything they had. The defense was structured like an onion, with multiple layers to stop the threats far from the carrier. The defense started with an invisible long-range shield. EA-18G Growler electronic attack aircraft already in the air flooded the missile paths with powerful jamming signals. This electronic attack tried to blind and confuse the missiles' navigation and targeting systems, forcing them to miss or fly off course. This first step was critical. The easiest missile to defeat is the one that can't find its target. This electronic shield caused chaos among the incoming cruise missiles, but the faster DF-21D ballistic missiles still needed a direct hit to stop them. The core of the kinetic defense, which uses physical weapons, fell to the 2 destroyers. Their Aegis combat systems, using powerful radar, immediately locked onto the Mach 10 DF-21D missiles. These high-altitude ballistic threats required the fleet's fastest interceptors. 40 SM-6 interceptor missiles roared out of the destroyer's launch cells in quick, organized groups. The missiles were fired in a 2 missiles per target strategy to ensure a high chance of a kill against the fast-moving warheads. In a blinding, furious exchange high above the clouds, the SM-6s worked perfectly, with their explosions wiping out 14 of the incoming ballistic missiles in less than 90 seconds. The sky flashed with the destruction of high-speed weapons, proving the defense could handle the speed of the ASBMS. Despite the highly successful initial attack, the sheer number of missiles meant some were still coming. The next layer of defense activated. 4 cruise missiles plunged toward the center of the strike group, but were met by the RIM-162 Evolved Sea Sparrow missiles, ESSM. These missiles are faster to launch, and many can be packed into a single launcher cell, providing a critical density of defense against a swarm. The ESSM tore into 4 more warheads. 2 DF-21Ds still broke through and began their final steep dive. Electronic jamming from the carrier itself managed to trick one missile's guidance system, sending it to crash harmlessly into the ocean less than half a mile from the ship. The last one exploded close to the Ford's left side, shaking the giant ship hard. The sound was deafening, but the carrier's high-strength armored hull, designed to absorb such a shock, held firm, preventing major damage. Only superficial damage was recorded. The low-flying, sea-skimming threat posed by the remaining 36 CJ-10 cruise missiles was the job of the innermost defense layer. This defense was fast and automatic. MQ-25 Stingray drones, acting as spotters high up, sent target information directly to the ship's fire control computers. This meant the defense systems could fire at the low-flying missiles even before the ship's own radar could fully lock onto them. The main weapon in this inner layer was the Phalanx Close-In Weapon System, CIWS. CIWS. The Ford and its escort ships have many of these mounts. The CIWS is a 6-barreled 20mm Gatling gun that fires 4,500 tungsten rounds every minute. It works fully on its own as the last chance weapon. The CIWS mounts created a wall of bullets, ripping 33 of the incoming cruise missiles into burning debris. The powerful continuous sound of the CIWS guns was the final noise of the enemy attack failing. The final 3 cruise missiles were destroyed by the RIM-116 rolling airframe missiles RAM. These fire and forget missiles locked onto the warhead's heat and finished the attack. The defense was fast, precise, and worked across all layers. The result was a stunning success. Out of 56 inbound missiles, 55 were destroyed or harmlessly neutralized. The US strike group had survived. Survival was immediately followed by a powerful counterattack. At 5:10 a.m., less than an hour after the sirens went off, Operation Iron Thunder began. This phase showed that the carrier strike group is not just about defense, but about fighting back with massive force. The counterstrike hit the enemy's missile launch sites and command centers from 3 directions: underwater, air, and surface. Beneath the water, 2 Virginia-class nuclear attack submarines, USS Illinois and USS Missouri, acted as hidden launch platforms. They fired 30 Tomahawk Block 5 cruise missiles. These missiles, carrying powerful 1,000-pound warheads, were programmed to hit military targets deep inside China, reinforced command bunkers, hardened hangars at Lingshui Air Base, and the radar stations that had started the missile attack. At the same time, the flight deck of the USS Gerald R. Ford, despite the attack, was already launching jets. 5 F-35C, Lightning II stealth fighters and 7 FA-18E Super Hornets took off. The F-35Cs, using their stealth to sneak past defenses, carried 40 precision-guided bombs to destroy air defenses. The Super Hornets carried 28 AMRAAM missiles to sweep the skies for any remaining H-6K bombers. The destruction on the Chinese coast was quick and focused. Tomahawk missiles turned billion-dollar radar domes into melted wreckage. Runways at Lingshui Air Base were destroyed by bombs, grounding a large part of the Chinese bomber fleet. Coastal missile sites were hit and left as burning ruins. Explosions at military fuel depots sent large clouds of black smoke into the air. The counteroffensive hit a brief but scary problem at 5:34 a.m. when the USS Missouri's Tomahawk system broke down, trapping 12 missiles in their launch tubes. For 2 minutes, submarine engineers fought to fix the system manually, risking great danger. The entire operation paused until, with a violent sound, the system restarted. The trapped missiles immediately shot out of the water, hitting their distant targets with great force and keeping the attack on schedule. By 6 a.m., the Chinese coastal defense network was crippled. 4 main radar and command stations were silent. The airbase was burning, and at least 18 aircraft were destroyed on the ground. The coast of Hainan Island was covered in wreckage and fire. But the final, most strategic attack was still to come. At 7:15 a.m., 2 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, having flown for many hours from Andersen Air Force Base in Guam, arrived undetected. They carried 16 GBU-57A massive ordnance penetrators, MOPs, 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs that can break through very thick concrete. Their goal was to destroy China's deepest underground missile silos. At 7:54 a.m., the bombs were released. The impact shockwaves deep underground collapsed entire tunnel networks and caused massive firestorms. In a few minutes, 70% of China's remaining anti-ship ballistic missile force was eliminated. To complete the mission, FA-18 Super Hornets attacked the last surface-to-air missile batteries, and the destroyers fired a final 24 Tomahawk missiles. The enemy's coastal shield was completely destroyed. The cost to China was huge: billions in infrastructure, dozens of lost aircraft, and the complete failure of their carrier killer missile plan. The USS Gerald R. Ford, barely scratched, was a massive symbol of victory. The crew was safe, and the fleet was ready to keep fighting. Their survival was due to perfect coordination and better technology. The clash on August 30th, 2025 sent a clear message: attacking without perfect planning and overwhelming force leads to defeat. The US Navy's layered defense, which could absorb a huge attack and immediately strike back with devastating force, proved to be the winning factor. The battle quickly changed global politics. Tokyo, Manila, and Canberra immediately offered more help to US forces. NATO voiced strong support. The message from the South China Sea was written in fire and steel. Power at sea comes from staying strong, working together, and having a technological edge. The USS Gerald R. Ford and its defenders had successfully shown the world the true meaning of naval power. The events of that morning would go down in history as the moment the balance of power shifted. The idea that a single massive missile attack could take out a US carrier was proven wrong. Instead, the US. The Navy showed that its defensive network connecting ships, aircraft, drones, and missiles into one single force was an impenetrable shield. The experience led the US to greatly increase funding for new weapons, especially directed energy weapons, lasers, which can fire almost endlessly, solving the problem of running out of interceptor missiles in a saturation attack. This battle was the start of a new high-tech arms race, forcing every other naval power to rethink its strategy. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss the next update from us.